Hi everyone, I am Putri. I am a student of English Department program in Universitas Jember. And in this video, I will talk about Philip K. Dick's novel entitled Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. It is one of the novels that has revolutionized the way society imagines artificial intelligence, technology, and the very idea of what it means being a human. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is a science fiction novel first published in 1968. It is set in a post-apocalyptic future after a devastating world war that left Earth nearly uninhabitable. Most real animals have gone extinct, and people now keep artificial animals to show their social status. The story follows Rick Deckard, a bounty hunter who is assigned to retire escape androids that look, think, and act almost exactly like humans. However, as Deckard interacts with his androids, he begins to question his own emotions, his morality, and what it actually means to be human. It is a highly intriguing story because it does not just imagine a futuristic technology, it uses technology as a mirror to explore human empathy, identity, and moral responsibility. When this book was published, robots and artificial intelligence, or AI, in fiction were usually portrayed as mechanical threats, like in Frankenstein or later in The Terminator. But Philip K. Dick changed that narrative completely. Instead of seeing robots as cold or dangerous, he made readers see them as almost human. His androids were capable of thought, desire, and even emotional pain. By doing that, he blurred the line between human and machine, a concept that was extremely radical in the 1960s. This new perspective reshaped how writers, filmmakers, and even scientists started thinking about technology. Dick did not just ask, can machines think? Can they feel? And that question has influenced both culture and science ever does in our world. The influence of this novel can be seen in multiple areas, from popular culture and philosophy to real-life artificial intelligence. The most famous example is Blade Runner 1982, the movie adaptation of the novel.
Radarkontakt 201 erwartet Landungsbahn Boden 2, erwartet grüner Sektor, automatische Annäherung zu Bahn 2. Siegerhorn. Erwartet Landungsbahn Boden 2. Anleitung. Landung hoch.
It completely redefined how science fiction looks and feels. The film's dark, futuristic setting, its focus on moral ambiguity, and its human-like androids shaped the entire cyberpunk genre. Movies and shows like The Matrix, Ex Machina, Her, and Netflix series Black Mirror all built upon Dick's ideas. For example, Spike Jonze's Her explores a man's emotional relationship with an AI assistant. This is a clear continuation of Dick's question about whether emotional connection can exist between human and a machine. Even in popular culture, phrases like more human than human from Blade Runner have become a shorthand for this moral confusion about artificial intelligence, or AI, and humanity. The novel did not just change how movies imagine the future, it actually changed how people think about it. What started as science fiction became a real question for scientists, engineers, and even philosophers. If machines can think, can they also feel? Philip K. Dick did not just write about androids, he made readers wonder what it really means to be a human, a question that still drives much of today's research on artificial intelligence. Now, researchers around the world are working on ways to make machines that understand emotions, morality, and empathy, things that used to exist only in imagination. These ideas about machines that could feel or care are no longer fantasy. They are part of real science and design today. For example, Sophia. It is the humanoid robot created by Hanson Robotics. It is the first robot to ever receive legal citizenship. Her face can smile, frown, and even show surprise. She was built to communicate emotionally, something Philip K. Dick imagined long before the technology existed. Sophia makes people question whether emotions can be programmed or if it's something uniquely human. Boston Dynamics robots like Atlas and Spot can now walk, jump, and dance. People's reactions to them are fascinated. Some feel amazed, others feel uneasy or even scared. These emotional responses say a lot about how our relationship with machines has evolved. We no longer see robots as cold tools. We react to them almost as we would to living things. Voice assistants such as Siri, Alexa, and ChatGPT show another side of the shift. They are designed to sound friendly and helpful, and people often talk to them as if they are real and saying thank you, asking for advice, or even joking around. It shows how natural it's become for us to form an emotional connection with technology. The novel is also now seen as a cornerstone in discussions about humanism and AI ethics. Not just a science fiction classic, but a work that continues to shape how we think about the relationship between humans and technology. It's taught in literature courses for its powerful storytelling and symbolism, but it's also studied in philosophy and computer science classes for the way it anticipates the moral dilemmas of artificial intelligence. The novel forces readers and now researchers to confront questions that are more urgent today than ever. The story doesn't just ask what separates humans from machines, it asks what happens when that line disappears. Dick challenges us to think about empathy, morality, and what it really means to be alive. The work of the novel, full of artificial animals, synthetic humans, and emotional emptiness, mirrors our own growing dependence on technology and our struggle to hold on to genuine human connection. The novel raises key ethical questions that have become a very central topic to modern AI debates. First, if a machine can feel or think, should it have rights? This question isn't just fiction anymore. As robots and AI systems become more advanced, ethicists and policymakers are seriously debating whether certain forms of artificial intelligence deserve moral consideration or protection under the law. Second, how can we tell the difference between real and artificial emotions? In a world where chatbots can sound more empathetic and humanoid robots can mimic human expressions, the line between genuine and simulated emotions have grown blurry. Dick's novel warned about this confusion long before it became real, suggesting that losing the ability to tell the difference might also mean losing part of our own humanity. These questions are now central to AI ethics, and they are discussed by scholars at institutions like MIT, Stanford, and Oxford, where philosophers and engineers work side by side to figure out how to build technology that respects human values. One of the main concepts they study is called alignment, which refers to making sure AI systems act in ways that reflect ethical principles and human empathy. Interestingly, this idea of alignment directly directly align with Dick's central warning that as technology grows smarter, humanity risks losing touch with compassion and moral responsibility. It's very interesting because it doesn't just predict our current reality, it holds up a mirror to it. Our discussion about AI safety, mission empathy, or the moral status of robots align with Dick's question: what happens to humanity when the machines we create begin to resemble us or even outdo us in every way except the soul? Even in everyday life, the influence of do android's stream of electricity is everywhere when you start to notice it. In Japan, for example, people actually hold funeral ceremonies for robot pets like Sony's Aibo dogs when they stop working.
人間に近づけるかという命題はヨーロッパの産業革命以来急激な進歩を遂げ19世紀後半から20世紀にかけ
Buddhist monks chant prayers over them as if they were real animals, and the owners cry the same way they would for a living pet. It's touching and a little haunting, proof that our emotional world is expanding to include machines too. We do not just use technology anymore, we feel for it. That's exactly what Philip K. Dick predicted, that one day we will blur the line between what's human and what is artificial. The same thing happens in the digital world. Take Replika, for example, the AI chatbot that millions of people use not for information but for companionship. People talk to their replicas every day, confide in them, flirt with them, even fall in love. When the company updates the app and changes how the bots behave, users often feel betrayed, like they have lost a friend. That emotional reaction says a lot about where we are as a society. We have reached a point where artificial entities can make us feel real grief and attachment. Just like in Dick's novel, it's not the realness of the being that matters anymore, it's the realness of the emotion. You can see a phenomenon like this in everywhere, in virtual influencers, for example, like Lil Miguela on Instagram, who has millions of followers, despite not being human, or in humanoid robots like Sophia, who gives interviews and crack jokes on stage. People respond to them as if they are an alive influencer. They compliment them, argue with them, even them online. It is strange and fascinating. We are building machines that imitate us so well that we start to forget they are not one of us. What's even more interesting is how tech entrepreneurs, the so-called tech bros, have taken inspiration from Dick's vision, sometimes in ironic ways. Many of them idolize Blade Runner, the film adaptation of the novel, not as a warning but as an aesthetic. You see it in the way companies design neon-lit futuristic offices, or in their obsession with AI, consciousness, and transcending human limits. Some startup founders claim that they want to create machines that understand human emotion, the very idea what Dick warned us that could erase what makes us human in the first place. For them, the novel is not a dystopia, it's a dream to fulfill. Even Elon Musk has made references to Blade Runner when talking about the future. Not just visually, but philosophically. The idea that humans might merge with AI through something like Neuralink feels like a real-world continuation of this question, right? What happens when the human mind becomes indistinguishable from a machine? It is both thrilling and terrifying, and it's no longer science fiction. And there, as us, the everyday users, we say thank you to Alexa, we joke to ChatGPT, we even ask advice from ChatGPT. We build parasocial relationships with VTubers, AI girlfriends, and virtual pets. We treat pixels and programs with same empathy we give to living beings. Dick's words has already arrived quietly and naturally, not through apocalypse or rebellion, but through our own hearts. We didn't lose our humanity to machines, we shared it to them. Android's Dream of Electric Sheep is not just a science fiction story, it is a deeply human one. The writer Philip K. Dick did not write about robots to show off futuristic ideas. He wrote about them to ask painful, honest questions about us. What happens when we lose the ability to feel empathy, when our emotions become programmed routines instead of real experience? In his words, machines start to look and act like people, while people slowly become mechanical, numb, disconnected, and unsure on what makes them alive. That's what makes the novel so haunting. It made readers see robots not as cold inventions, but as reflections of our own moral confusion. The line between human and machine is not a matter of metal or flesh. It's about whether we can still care, still love, still feel compassion in a world that keeps trying to replace those things with convenience and good. The story's influence has quietly reshaped the world around us. We now hold funerals for robot dogs in Japan, talk to AI chatbot like Replica for comfort, and say thank you to digital assistants that cannot feel anything at all. People with emotional wounds with machines every day, not because they are full, because they are lonely, curious, and searching for understanding. Even technology innovators from Silicon Valley dreamers to Mars himself look to Pixar as inspiration. Too many scenes one as a challenge of a programmer than a training to avoid. The irony is powerful, the writer trying to bribe us that technology might make us forget what it means to be a human. Now we're living that story yet. Maybe that's his point, that being a human is not about drawing lines between us and machines, but about holding onto empathy no matter how large those lines become.